Dialogue options and perfect endings. Written by Aloha Flower. Read by Hijinks Audio. Chapter 2. Static. Summary. Aizawa tries to find out the cause of the mysterious time loops. Aizawa was beginning to panic a little. He quickly sent a text to 13 asking if they were doing rescue training today. Then, he glanced at himself in his phone camera. His face looked actually alright now, the gash having shrunk, not appearing to leave a scar, and only a little bit of yellowish discoloration rather than the bruise yesterday. But that didn't mean much if he couldn't walk. Was the USJ going to happen again today? To focus, prioritize, go step by step, do small, digestible fragments. Step 1. Find out if the USJ is happening again today. Step 2. Find pain meds. His body hurt. Step 3. Figure out why this is his third Wednesday. Unfortunately, even the easiest part of his plan, getting pain meds, was a problem. They were in a cabinet in the living room, and his legs were doing that horrible tingling painful thing, and he felt a sudden rush of pity for every person who had to deal with nerve damage. I can do it. I can do it. He got onto his feet, swallowing a swear word, and heavily leaned on the wall, managing to move his legs but feeling a spark of pain every time he put weight on them. He managed to make it to the living room, but bending down to grab the medicine from his cabinet was going to be a problem. He gripped the couch and lowered himself down, pain in his legs, and grabbed the entire bottle of painkillers, along with some pain cream for his skin. Then he turned around and made his way back to bed. Cursing the fact that he didn't have any water by his bedside, but unwilling to make the journey to the kitchen, he swallowed 3 pills dry. The medicine he had was a weak painkiller, not containing any narcotics or opiates. It didn't have any addictive qualities, probably the reason he could get it over the counter. Considering he was pretty sure some of the bones in his back were broken, well, he wished he had some stronger stuff. Some codeine might be nice. While he spread the topical pain-relieving cream on his back and legs, it was kind of working, but he only had a single bottle, which was only enough to cover maybe a third of the injured area. He glanced at his phone. 13 had texted back, confirming Class 1A was going to the USJ for rescue training. Shit. He texted both 13 and Nezu, saying that A, he couldn't come in today, and that B, they really should consider not doing the rescue training today. Both of their replies to that were confused, but he responded vaguely without explaining, with something akin to, just don't do rescue training today, thanks. Nezu was taking a long time to type out his message, but 13 immediately protested, talking about the importance of completing the rescue training on time and not setting back the curriculum. Aizawa just sighed, put his phone down, and started to think. How had this happened? Yesterday was definitely Wednesday, but today was Wednesday, and he had the injuries from Wednesday. No one else seemed to remember Wednesday either, and he had injuries, albeit much more healed, from the first Wednesday as well. So, multiple Wednesdays, and a villain attack. Part of Aizawa wanted to curl up and not do anything today, and hope his pain got better in the next round, but he wasn't sure whether or not he was going to get another Wednesday, so he didn't consider that an option. This was his third Wednesday, right? What if he only got 3 tries? His goal in this loop should probably be stopping the USJ attack in the first place. He definitely didn't want to go through that again, and this seemed like a great opportunity to prevent the attack before it even started. Hopefully, that would fix the fact that the day was repeating too. He checked his phone again and saw that Nezu had responded again, this time not commenting on the USJ, but asking him whether he was okay. Aizawa frowned. Should he say yes? He was patently not okay, but again, he had no explanation for these injuries. And if Hisashi, or Nezu, or Shizenji saw that he'd sustained spinal injuries, they'd be horrified, and he had no explanation for them. He grimaced. He definitely didn't want to deal with their reactions. He was still capable of walking, as seen when he got up earlier, but he might not be able to walk anymore if he messed with his back any further. So he should get medical help to mitigate the damage. He sighed and lifted his phone to text back that no, he was not necessarily fine, when there was a knock at the door. Come in, Aizawa called. Yo, Shota, Nezu texted me, asked me to swing by here before I went to work. Apparently you're not feeling so good, Hisashi said, poking his head into the bedroom. You can't just say that your back is broken.
I'm having some weird leg numbness.
Hisashi furrowed his brows in concern. Do you want me to drive you to UA so Recovery Girl can take a look? Aizawa sighed.
Yes, that would be appreciated.
And here he was, again, in the infirmary with Recovery Girl and Nezu. Bruised arms, fractured spine, and your ribcage looks like it's on the verge of collapse, Recovery Girl said, as Aizawa laid still in a back and neck brace. How did this happen?
I don't remember,
Aizawa lied, face expressionless. Saying that would make them think he was concussed, but honestly, it was easier than trying to come up with some explanation. And his head did still hurt a little, so maybe he did still have a concussion. That's not true, Nezu said, without missing a beat. And, yeah, Nezu really did know him too well.
Fine, but it's not going to make any sense,
Aizawa grumbled. That's fine. Explain, Recovery Girl said.
I've already lived through this day,
Aizawa explained.
Twice. These injuries are from the previous Wednesday.
You're in a time, Nezu started. The world cut out. Aizawa woke up in his bed. What? His back and ribs still ached, and his legs still tingled, but it was muted compared to what it had been just minutes ago? Aizawa grabbed his phone from the nightstand. Wednesday, April 14th, 7:28 a.m. Again? Aizawa took stock of his body. Aching back, tingling legs, but... He flexed his arms, which appeared to be in perfect working order. No scarring. Nothing. He glanced at the patch of skin that had been turned to dust by Shigaraki in the first loop, running his hand over the spot. Completely smooth, as if the skin had never been broken. He pulled up his shirt to see that his ribs were a mess of bruises, but greenish-yellow bruises, not the horrid purple-blue they'd been... yesterday? What the hell was that? Why was he back here? Nezu had been saying he was in a time loop, or something like that, right? Was that the trigger of the reset?
I'm in a time loop,
Aizawa said aloud to himself. Nothing happened. Aizawa sighed. Great, so he had no idea what sent him back. Aizawa got up and sat down carefully on the couch. He texted Nezu he wouldn't be in, this time citing a reason. A family emergency, he typed, being as vague as possible, hoping Nezu wouldn't assume something was wrong, and considered his next steps. He needed to stop the USJ, but he also needed to figure out what was causing these loops in the first place. He remembered, feeling vaguely ill, a story about time loops in which the loops had gotten shorter and shorter until time was barely a blip, and another in which everything contained within the time loop had slowly vanished. Yeah, top priority was making sure the fabric of the universe wasn't damaged. Okay. Possible time loop causes? He had no idea. Was this some sci-fi invention? Was he being cursed by a clever yokai or some higher power? Or, perhaps a more grounded explanation. Could a quirk have triggered it? He'd never heard of a time loop quirk, and even if that explanation were true, it would still take a lot of investigating to figure out whose quirk it was. It could have just been a passing stranger, or, hell, someone from the USJ attack itself. Unless... A memory, from Aizawa's first Wednesday, came to mind. Aizawa was walking slowly through the park when a kid, about 8-ish, plowed into him.
Oof,
Aizawa said dryly, stumbling a bit. Wide-eyed, the kid rushed to apologize. Sorry, mister, for running into you, and... The kid looked ashamed for a moment. No, I better not tell you about it. You'll get mad. At least you have more chances now. That's a good thing. Aizawa was about to ask the kid what he meant, when the kid ran away to go play with his friends again. Aizawa shrugged and kept walking, not about to chase down an 8-year-old and needing to get to work. He'd almost forgotten about that. More chances, huh? That kid could have been talking about something else, but it was worth a shot. He got up carefully and went towards the park he'd met the boy in, taking the elevator and the shortest path in an attempt to avoid hurting his legs and back. On the path, he found a long, sturdy stick and ended up using it as something of a walking stick or cane. He got an odd look or two for relying so heavily on an improvised stick, but he ignored it and went towards where the park was. Aizawa was pretty self-aware of his appearance and knew full well that at this point in the morning he probably looked like a scrappy homeless dude, and people made biased assumptions fast. So, rather than try to approach the kids playing ball in the park, he walked towards the group of mums and dads clustered by the benches, presumably the parents of the group. He gave a polite cough as he approached. One of the women raised an eyebrow. "Can we help you?"
One of the kids in that group ran into me earlier and said they used their quirk on me. Or implied it. I'm not mad, but it would be nice to know what it was.
Aizawa invented. One of the others scoffed. They've been playing here the whole time, and you just got here, she said. That's impossible. Wait, the one with the curliest hair said. Is it the kid in the green shirt? Aizawa glanced back. It was.
Yes.
That's my son, Miura Hikaru. If you... The world cut out. Aizawa woke up in his bed again. He glanced at his phone. April 14th, Wednesday. Of course. The day reset again. But, on the bright side, he knew the kid's name, which meant he could use the quirk database to check what his quirk was. He decided to see how he was feeling first, though. His leg was still a little sensitive, but they seemed much improved. He poked his ribs. They were a bit sore, but he could only really feel it when he touched them, unlike yesterday, when they hurt all the time. Glancing about, he noticed his vision was perfect, healed from when he'd been bashed in the face during the first Wednesday, as if nothing had ever happened. Aizawa pulled out his computer. With a little bit of fibbing to the Hero Commission as to why he needed to access the quirk database, he was looking up the record of a local kid by the name of Miura Hikaru. And when he found it... Quirk, victory loop, warning, time-based, warning, hazardous. He found the answer to a lot of his questions. Thank you for listening to the second part of this series. Please remember to go and leave some love on the original fic, and as always, I have links in my bio and my description for families in Palestine who really need help, so if you could donate or share the links, it would be greatly appreciated. I also could not stop laughing at, the bit with Miura. Just, Aizawa going, oof. That's so funny to me, I don't know why. It's just... The idea of Aizawa completely deadpan, looking a kid in the eyes and going, oof. Like a Roblox character. I love it. I love Aizawa, he's so fun. Anyway, I hope you will like the chapter, and thank you all for listening, and have a lovely day, guys.